today I'm with Dr. Michelle Zhou from UpHealth Hong Kong, and we are talking about chiropractic and pregnancy.
Hi everybody, my name is Michelle and I'm a chiropractor. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the pregnant spine. We're looking at the spine right now from the side angle. So the spine has a natural 3 curvature to it. So these 3 curvatures are actually crucial because it means the spine can adopt these curves to act like a spring, which takes a lot of the body's pressure. So essentially everything you do, whether it's exercise, whether it's walking, whether it's just gravity, is not loading directly onto the bones, but rather being the curvature itself. In pregnancy, the more common changes through the spine is actually an increased lordosis. Essentially, it means you may feel your lower back is arching a little bit more than it previously did. And actually, this is a very normal adaptation because it's the relaxing effects and then it's the balancing action of the bump versus the spine. Many instances we come across in modern world is that, women, we have, office jobs. So you might be in a situation where you do have to sit for a long period in the day. And if you are, unaware of the posture, and a lot of times people end up with what's called a flex position for the spine, where you kind of loading back down, you're slouching a little bit, you might be putting a little bit more pressure onto your sacrum, which is like more near your tailbone kind of region, rather than on your sitting bone. So, and on the spine, what happens is you have that decrease of the lordosis. So when you have that decreased lordosis, it actually affects in many ways. So first of all, you will put more pressure onto the sacrum. Now the sacrum is already working overtime during pregnancy, and it doesn't like any extra work that it really doesn't have to do, so you might suffer from aches and pain associated with that. And then secondly is also when we tuck down, if you think about it that way, the bump goes forward because that's where the space comes from for the baby. Okay? So if you tuck down, that actually reduces the amount of space you can provide as well. So while that's okay in early pregnancy, before second trimester, but in the third trimester, you definitely need all of that space. So it is important to actually maintain the lumbar lordosis in various kind of ways. So we're going to show a few ways that women can consider adopting if they are sitting in their desk a lot. Fold this in half. Essentially just making 4 rows. Okay. And then we're gonna fold and fold to create a nice little triangle in here. We're gonna pop it on the chair.
Oh, and then you sit on it.
You sit on it.
And then this is instead of having a fancy lumbar support.
This is having, there's 2 versions of these lumbar support that you can have. One is for the butt, because a lot of times people whether it's related with the chair or whether it's related with, like the pelvic alignment. A lot of times when people are sitting on the chair, they can't really feel where their sitting bone is. And also when you round, you put essentially a lot of pressure onto your tailbone. So this solution elevates the sitting bone a little bit, which also means even if you round slightly, it doesn't immediately put pressure onto the sacrum. Not that you should be rounding at all, but this is one element, and oftentimes when you do this, you will really feel your sitting bone, and that just gives you a little bit of elevation, and you have this little triangle that just gives you a little bit of a support at the back. Okay. This is actually also what we recommend for people with coccyx injuries to use as well. So if people have like a coccyx strain, whether it's a fracture, you fell on it and really tender around the coccyx region, we also recommend sitting on something like that just to give you a nice little support for the bottom. So the second thing I recommend for sitting on top of creating that nice little triangle at the bottom is just to roll up a nice simple towel to around this shape. It doesn't have to be super big. If you're a really tall person, you can obviously go a little bit bigger. So around that size, and we pop this into what we call the small of your back. So the small of your back is essentially the most curvy part of the spine. So it's not your tailbone where your pelvis starts. So it's just above your pelvis, and it's in that curvy part of the middle of the spine. Also, in this position, we want you to shift all the way back until your back is in full contact to the chair. And essentially, you have the towel there that's acting like a little bit of a reminder to, first of all, maintain that lumbar lordosis, which we talk about, and it provides a little bit of support. Otherwise, you'll have an empty part here, and it's really hard to maintain that support, especially if you have to sit for a prolonged period of time. We're talking about 6 to 8 hours. So in this position, you are pretty much set in this position. I also like towels versus some of these fancy equipment that you can install into the chair, which is good if you got them. But the active part about the towel is that if you become naughty and started being in a bad posture, come forward, your towel will literally roll off. So this will also act like a physical reminder that you really should be there. So again, find the small of your back, place your towel on top, and just make sure you slide all the way to the bottom. And again, we talked about the legs not being crossed. If you can, obviously, if you're not wearing a tight skirt, we do recommend them to just open up slightly, and then bring your chair towards the desk and towards your keyboard or whatever else you're working on. So in this position, at least you're maintaining a nice neutral position for the body, and it's not working too hard while working. We also recommend, if you can, obviously coming out every hour and move around if you're allowed to and if you can.
Thanks to Michelle for her time today. If you guys have any more questions about chiropractic or anything specific that you're interested in that has to do with maternity chiropractic, let me know and we can do another video where we look at it again. And if you're looking for a chiropractor in Hong Kong, make sure to come to UpHealth.
Thank you.
Alrighty, bye.